You've met this person. Maybe you work with them. Maybe you follow them online. They just seem lighter than everyone else, like life isn't hitting them the same way. They're not richer or younger. They haven't had it easier, but somehow they wake up already ahead of the day. Here's what nobody tells you about them. It's not personality, circumstances, or some genetic lottery. It's a handful of small, specific things they do in the first hour of the morning. Things that seem almost meaningless, but are backed by powerful research in neuroscience and positive psychology. Today, I'm giving you all 12. Not a vague list, a clear, research-backed morning blueprint that helps your brain feel more focused, stable, and energized for hours. One warning before we start. When we get to habit number 8, pay close attention. Most people skip that one because it sounds too simple. But the research behind it is extraordinary, and the people who actually do it consistently report it as the single biggest shift in how they feel day to day. You don't want to miss it. Habit 1. Don't check your phone for the first 10 minutes. When you wake up, your brain is in a relaxed brainwave state called alpha, associated with creativity, calm, and emotional openness. The moment you start scrolling, your brain is flooded with cortisol and your nervous system snaps into reactive mode. You've handed control of your emotional state to the internet before you've even sat up in bed. Research from IDC found that 80% of smartphone users check their phones within 15 minutes of waking up. And studies consistently link this to higher anxiety, lower mood, and reduced focus throughout the day. The fix is simple. Set your alarm on a separate device or put your phone face down across the room. Give yourself 10 uncontested minutes before the world gets access to your attention. That's your window. Use it. Habit 2. The 60-second breathing reset. Before you get up, before you do anything, take 60 seconds to breathe slowly and deliberately. In through your nose for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Out through your mouth for 6. Do that 4 or 5 times, 1 minute, that's all. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's built-in calm mode, and immediately reduces cortisol levels. A study published in the journal Frontiers in Human Neuroscience found that slow, controlled breathing significantly increases serotonin production, the neurotransmitter most closely linked to sustained mood and emotional stability. Think of this as the emotional thermostat for your entire day. You're not rushing into the morning, you're choosing how you enter it. That difference is enormous. Habit 3. Get morning light within 30 minutes of waking. Step outside, open a window, let the light in. This one sounds almost offensively simple, but the science behind it is rock solid. Dr. Andrew Huberman of Stanford University has been vocal about this for years. Morning sunlight, specifically the light spectrum present in the first hour after sunrise, triggers a surge in serotonin, sets your circadian rhythm, and creates a cortisol spike at exactly the right moment. Early in the day when it actually improves alertness rather than harming it. That properly timed cortisol pulse is linked to better mood, sharper focus, and lower stress levels later in the afternoon and evening. You don't need to sit in direct sunlight. You don't need to be outside for long. 2 to 5 minutes of natural light reaching your eyes is enough to set the biological machinery in motion. Make it the first thing you do when you get out of bed, and watch what it does to your mornings over 2 weeks. Habit 4. Make your bed. I know, you've heard this one, but before you skip past it, hear the mechanism out. Admiral William McRaven famously said in his commencement speech at the University of Texas, "If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day." And while that sounds motivational, neuroscience is what makes it interesting. Completing a task, but even a tiny simple one, releases a small hit of dopamine, your brain's primary motivation chemical. That dopamine doesn't just feel good. It actively signals to your brain, we finish what we start. We are capable. Psychologists call this the small wins effect. Early day accomplishments create momentum that carries forward. People who make their bed in the morning report higher productivity, lower stress, and in a survey of 68,000 people by Hunch.com, a 19% higher likelihood of describing themselves as happy. It takes 90 seconds. Make the bed. Habit 5. Drink water before anything else. Not coffee, not juice, not a smoothie. Water first. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, your body is measurably dehydrated. And even mild dehydration, as little as 1 to 2%, is enough to impair cognitive function, lower mood, increase feelings of anxiety, and reduce physical energy. A study from the University of Connecticut found that dehydration at this level causes measurable shifts in mood and concentration, even in people who aren't physically thirsty. 1 large glass of water when you first wake up rehydrates your brain, kickstarts your metabolism, and improves your alertness faster than most people realize. Then have your coffee. Absolutely have your coffee, but let water go first. Habit 6. Write down 1 intention, not a to-do list. Most productivity advice tells you to plan your whole day first thing, and then your brain spends the first 10 minutes of the morning anxious. The happiest people don't write to-do lists. They write 1 intention. Not a task, an emotional direction. Today I'm going to respond instead of react. Today I'm going to protect my energy. Today I'm going to be present. Research from the Dominican University of California found that people who write down a clear intention are 42% more likely to achieve it. But beyond productivity, it gives your brain a cognitive anchor, a direction. And a brain with a clear emotional direction is calmer, more resilient, and significantly happier throughout the day. 1 sentence, 1 intention, 30 seconds. Habit 7. Do 5 minutes of movement, any movement. Not a workout, not a training session. 5 minutes in any form that feels natural to you. Stretch, do a few squats, walk around, put on a song and move. The form doesn't matter, the mechanism does. Movement triggers endorphins, your brain's mood elevation system. It also releases BDNF, sometimes called miracle grow for the brain, which promotes new neural connections and is strongly linked to lower rates of depression and anxiety. A Harvard study found that 15 minutes of daily movement reduces depression risk by 26%. 5 minutes won't hit that threshold alone, but it starts the system and builds the habit. And on most mornings, 5 minutes becomes 10 or 15 naturally. Start at 5. Let momentum do the rest. Habit 8. The gratitude scan, but not the version you're thinking of. This is the habit I mentioned at the beginning, and here's why it's different from every gratitude practice you've tried before. Don't write a list. Instead, close your eyes for 60 seconds and recall 1 specific moment in the recent past that felt genuinely good. A conversation that made you laugh, a meal you enjoyed, a person whose face makes you feel safe. Then feel it. Don't just name it. Neuroscientist Dr. Rick Hansen calls this taking in the good. The brain has a built-in negativity bias. It's wired to hold on to bad experiences far more powerfully than good ones. That was useful for survival. It's not useful for happiness. Research shows that deliberately dwelling on a positive memory for just 20 to 30 seconds begins to counteract that bias, increasing dopamine and over time rewiring your emotional baseline toward positivity. 60 seconds, 1 real memory, feel it fully. That's it. Habit 9. Eat a protein-rich breakfast, or don't eat at all. If you eat breakfast, make it protein-dominant. Protein stabilizes blood sugar, which directly affects mood, and blood sugar crashes are one of the most underrated drivers of morning anxiety and low energy. Eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, nuts, anything that leads with protein over sugar. If you skip breakfast, that's also supported. Studies on intermittent fasting show it can improve mental clarity and mood for people whose bodies respond well to it. The key is that it's a deliberate choice, not a skipped meal replaced by 3 coffees on an empty stomach. What the research agrees on, a high-sugar breakfast, cereal, pastries, sweetened drinks, reliably produces a mood crash within 90 minutes. If your mornings feel emotionally uneven, this is the first place to look. Habit 10. Protect your inputs for the first hour. Your brain is not equally defensible at all times of day. In the first 60 to 90 minutes after waking, it is in a state of heightened neuroplasticity, more open, more impressionable, more likely to absorb and hold on to whatever it encounters. Neuroscientists describe this as a critical window for emotional programming. The happiest people understand this intuitively, even if they've never read the research. They don't consume news that raises anxiety. They don't engage with negative conversations. They don't open their inbox and let someone else's urgency dictate their nervous system. This isn't avoidance, it's strategy. You will deal with the world, but you get to choose when you let it in. Give yourself 1 hour of clean, uncontaminated input and watch how differently you handle everything that comes after. Habit 11. Do one thing slowly, on purpose. The modern morning is a race. Shower fast, eat fast, dress fast, out the door. And it costs more than most people realize. Chronic rushing keeps your nervous system in a low-level state of stress even when nothing is actually wrong. It trains your brain to treat normal life as an emergency, elevating baseline cortisol and making everyday frustrations feel disproportionately hard. The fix is one deliberately slow moment. Drink your coffee without doing anything else. Sit for a few minutes after getting dressed before reaching for your bag. Walk to the car without your headphones in. It sends a signal to your brain, we are not in danger. We have enough time. We are okay. Pick one thing you normally rush through. Do it slowly just tomorrow morning. Notice what it does. Habit 12. Say something kind to yourself before you face the world. This is the last habit, and the one most people feel immediately uncomfortable with. Good. That discomfort is information. Research led by Dr. Kristen Neff at the University of Texas at Austin consistently finds that people who treat themselves with the same kindness they'd offer a friend have lower rates of anxiety, depression, and burnout, and higher levels of happiness and resilience. Not because they're soft, because they're not burning psychological energy on self-criticism. Before you begin your day, say one true kind thing to yourself. I'm still showing up. I'm doing better than I give myself credit for. I don't have to be perfect today. Say it out loud if you can. Whisper it if you need to, but say it. 12 habits. None requiring more than a few minutes. None costing a thing. All backed by real science. But you don't need all 12. Dr. B.J. Fogg at Stanford's Behavior Design Lab has shown that adopting too many habits at once dramatically reduces your success rate with all of them. Pick 2 or 3, the ones that felt true when you heard them. Let those become automatic, then add more. Because the happiest people don't have perfect mornings, they have intentional ones. And that choice, made consistently, quietly, without fanfare, is what separates the people who feel good from the ones who keep waiting to. Your morning starts now. Make it yours.